Then just let me know when you're recording.
It's recording, but that's okay. I can edit it out. All right. I have to think. How was this? Okay. Sorry. Give me just 1 second. And now we're going to take a look at each participant's graph, starting with miles walked, speed, and then the BMC. We will start with Amanda.
Okay, for my graph, my average miles walked for the first phase, which was baseline, my miles walked was about 0.55. My range was between 0 and 1.6 miles. For phase 1 for baseline, my average miles walked per day was 2 miles. And then for phase 2, my average miles walked was slightly lower at 1.74. For my speed graph, I started out with an average of 1.24 miles per hour. And in phase 1, I went up to 3.09 miles per hour on average. For phase 2, my average was 2.62 miles per hour. So again, I went down a little bit in phase 2. My BMC started out in baseline at 28.3. Phase 1 went down slightly to 28.12 and finished off in phase 2 at 27.6. And now we're going to take a look at Crystal's graphs.
Okay, for the data regarding my miles walked, during baseline, the data had a decreasing trend. When phase 1 was implemented, there was an immediate jump up in data.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to have to split that. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I lost your graphs in there. Sorry.
Okay.
It didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. Why didn't that?
Sorry. I can't see the graphs. Can everyone else see the graphs?
Right now or before?
The whole time. I haven't been able to see them.
You need to click on Sammy's picture so that it comes up. Otherwise, you're going to see who's talking, I think.
I just see Sammy's like profile picture. So it's like up, but it's just Sammy's circle face.
Oh, really? I was able to see it.
Yeah,
as long as you guys can, that's totally fine. And I have my graphs here, so I can just go off of here. I just was making sure that other people could see, or if it was recording that way.
Is that what you still see? Or do you see my screen right now?
I just see like the profile face still.
I see a whole bunch of stuff open on your screen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Okay, as long as you guys, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go back.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't know why that happened.
Well, if that's the case, Sammy, if there's you know how for Crystal right now it was kind of hard for you to get to the graph right away.
Yeah.
And it was flipping between all of them. If that's happening since during Susan's.
Yeah, if you guys recognize
could you just maybe stop her and say that you're having technical difficulties until we get back on track, just because otherwise she's just going to keep going and not have any idea that it's not matching.
Oh, right. I was muted. I thought I didn't realize I was muted when I was trying to. interject.
Oh,
Is
when
that
you
what
were trying to stop it?
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
stop it, and then because if I exit it, then you guys see the Google Hangouts, and so I didn't realize I was muted. So, but I am in a room alone, so maybe I won't mute myself, so that if it does happen, I can stop you. Okay, Crystal, you should see your graph
Okay.
right now.
Yep.
Okay, whenever you are ready.
Okay. Are you able to make that bigger at all, or is?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Okay, for data regarding miles walked during baseline, the data had an increasing or a decreasing trend. I'm sorry. When phase 1 was implemented, there was an immediate jump up in data. The average of miles walked increased from 0.44 miles in baseline to 1.9 miles in phase 1. There was no data overlap between baseline and phase 1. During the implementation of phase 2, the average decreased to 1.8 miles walked per day. This could potentially be attributed to lower rates of walking on election day. As you can see that my data point was at its lowest on election day. And now I will switch to data regarding my speed during these phases. During baseline, my average speed was 2.4 miles per hour. There was a low outlier in these data on a day when I did not walk. This average increased during phase 1 to an average of 3.14 miles per hour. During this phase, my speed ranged from 2.3 to 4.8 miles per hour. There was a decrease in my speed during phase 2. My average speed during this phase was 3 miles per hour and ranged from 2.2 to 3.9 miles per hour. There was considerable data overlap during all of these phases, which makes sense because I probably walk at a relatively consistent speed on a daily basis, and this part wasn't targeted for intervention. And then finally, for body mass composition data, during baseline, my BMC average was 22.01 kilograms per meter squared. In phase 1, this decreased to an average of 21.95 kilograms per meter squared. And then in phase 2, despite walking less, my BMC actually dropped further to an average of 21.89 kilograms per meter squared. There are many factors that could have contributed to this fluctuation, so it would be difficult to reliably determine if walking more frequently was responsible for a decrease in BMC. But overall, my BMC was relatively stable. And now I will give this to Heather, who will discuss her data.
The miles that I had walked during baseline, as you can see, was very low. My baseline was about 0.12 miles. Moving into the intervention phase 1, I did have an increase up to 0.79 miles on average. As you can see, there's still quite a few days in there where I did not walk. This project actually turned out to be a little bit challenging for me as I am home by myself with 3 kids, and by the time I was able to get home most days and do all the household things, it was pretty much bedtime. So that accounts for a lot of these lower days. In phase 1, I did have a high data point, and that was on October 31st because we went trick-or-treating. So that's kind of my outlier there. In intervention phase 2, my average was about 0.56. So I actually did go down from phase 1 to phase 2. But as I said, I believe that does have to do with that data point on Halloween, where we had that excessive walking for trick-or-treating. Moving on to my speed data. In baseline, the speed was at 0.27 miles. That is definitely due to the fact that there's only 1 walk logged in there. Moving into phase 1, my average speed was 1.27. And going into intervention phase 2, it did decrease to 0.96. Looking over this data, it was quite sporadic. But I do think that just such a wide range between zeros in there all the way up to, you know, 3.5. And those were days that I was trying to get my walk in as quick as possible. So I did more of a jog than a walk. And moving on to my data for BMC. This was the one area that I stayed very consistent in. My baseline was 27.42. And moving into intervention phase 1, it only slightly changed to 27.43. And then moving into intervention phase 2, I had another increase to 27.46. I believe that there are many variables at play, and especially with the lower amount of walking than I was having, I wouldn't expect that there would be much variability in of the graph. And I will hand it over to Sammy.
So as you can see, my baseline was pretty consistent with an average speed of about 1.9 miles. It increased into phase 1 to an average of 2.6 miles per hour. And then into phase 2, that increased once more to 3.14 miles per hour. On November 10th, there's a bit of a spike because I increased not only the distance that I was going, and so I wanted to move a little faster, and so my speed increased there. For my mileage had increased there. For my speed, I was steady at 3.3 miles. Oh my gosh, I feel like I screwed that up. I'm gonna start over. Is that okay? Okay, everyone's muted. Okay, I will start that over. Okay, as you can see in my baseline, I stayed pretty consistent, walking 1.9 miles as my average. In phase 1, I walked an average of 2.6 miles a day, with an increase into phase 2, walking 3.14 miles a day. As for my speed, my baseline average was about 3.3 miles per hour. The average stayed the same into phase 1. And then there was a slight increase into phase 2 with 3.6 miles per hour, steadily increasing throughout the phases. My BMC had a steady decrease, starting baseline with 31 kilograms over meter squared, maintaining stability in the baseline, and then decreasing through phase 1 with an average of 30.64, into phase 2 with an average of 29.6, with an overall loss of 1.8 kilograms over meter squared. Now, Susan.
All right. So for my distance, in baseline, I did not walk at all. I did not mindfully walk during this phase. So my average was 0. During intervention phase 1, my average was 1.96. And intervention phase 2, my average was 2.36 miles. There is one outlier on October 23rd, and that was when I walked to a concert, which was 3.16 miles away. So for my speed, since I did not walk at all, my speed was 0, so average of 0 during baseline. During intervention phase 1, my speed was 3.26 miles per hour. And intervention phase 2, my average was 3.08 miles per hour. There's one outlier on October 19th, and that was because I was running out of time and I had to do it quickly, so I walked a little faster. For my body mass composition, my average during baseline was 21.83 kilograms over meter squared. In intervention phase 1, it was 21.85, and then intervention phase 2, it was 21.82. Prior to starting this intervention, I was on a set diet and engaged in circuit training, which I stopped during this intervention, which is why there's an increase during baseline. And during October 28th through November 6th, I implemented dieting again, which is why there is a decrease during that period. Now pass it back over to Sammy.
Okay. So that concludes the discussion on the results and graphs, and then I'm going to turn it over to Heather with the conclusion. And then end there. I'm gonna re-record mine later if everyone's okay with that. I just got a little bit flustered, but you guys don't need to be there for that. If you're all fine
Is
with
it
that.
meters? Did I just totally screw that up? Is it meters squared?
No, you're right. You're right.
You're right.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, because I saw the M and I was like, what is that? Oh my
I did
God.
that yesterday. I did that yesterday. Okay. So everyone besides Susan could see the graphs?
Yeah.
Okay. Then when I stop the broadcast, I'll review the video and make sure that it turned out that way. I don't know. I think that's it. Then I'll splice it together and upload it for you guys to check out.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Did
And
anyone
Crystal,
have
I liked your little template that you had, or however you worded that was very well worded.
what did I word?
What was
'Cause
that?
I thought, what did you like?
Oh, crystals. Crystals
Oh.
like
I know.
sounded very well prepared. I was like, what? I need that template. I want to put all my stuff in that.
I considered sending it to you guys, but I did it like right before we met, so I had a little extra
I mean,
time.
I thought everybody did a good job.
Yeah,
It went well.
yeah.
No, I like, and I think it's good that
Yeah,
everyone sounds a little different. It was like, wow, that sounds so well rehearsed.
Yeah.
Probably too rehearsed, but oh well.
No, it was good. It was very good.
Did anybody have any major edits that they wanted in the video from last night?
No.
Did they? Otherwise, just clean up any, gaps or whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you edit that? Do you just edit it like using Movie Maker or something?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
really easy. Yeah, actually, but I have to download the video from YouTube to insert it. So that's kind of
Right. Okay.
what I think. If I stop this, we all stay in here.